Well, morning, Tom.
Good morning, Paul. Summer's
Good.
arrived.
I know it's June. Can you believe it?
Oh, thank God. Yeah, it's May was pretty miserable, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, June has definitely started very well. In
Yes.
fact, I swam in the river with my two sons over the weekend.
Which river?
The Thames,
Oh my gosh.
absolutely Baltic.
Well, that's not been your only visit to London, has it?
No, so yeah, we were just saying, weren't we? What a treat to get to go and visit Covent Garden Market.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. There's something really special about.
Yeah.
Well, I left here at about 1:30 in the morning, and we started filming with Garin, the sort of communities and communications manager there. We started filming with him about 3 o'clock, and the market itself was alive. There were vehicles everywhere, forklift trucks beeping away. And if you see any of the content, the background noise, it was really difficult actually for Callum to manage the sound levels and to try and make the interviews decipherable. But the content that we got was terrific. We had totally sort of unhindered access to the staff that work at Covent Garden Market Authority. So, we dealt with the guys, guys driving the vans, guys loading the vans, guys picking the fruit and packing and quality control and buyers. And we spoke to a couple of guys who own various, businesses that operate within the Market Authority. And then we repeated the whole thing over on the flower market as well. So there were, there's a couple of, I'll let you draw your own conclusions. There's definitely a couple of sort of, what am I thinking of? Mary Poppins style Cockney cheeky chappies. But the full diversity of the market and the full diversity of London's also really obvious. There's people from South Asia, from the Middle East, from everywhere you could think of, and that reflects what London's all about as well. So there was something, and also the fruit and veggies from all over the world as well. And that was another theme that came through, was that everyone there really likes seeing the seasons unfold, but then also these sort of aliens arrive. Like we saw, some stuff I've never seen in my 40 years, dragon fruit and funny berries and all sorts of stuff that the chefs are demanding now to feed the international palate of London.
Yeah. Well, and I know we talked about it in last month's update, but now we've just had the content has started to come through. So it's not published yet, but we've, in fact, just in the last day or so, I've been watching the final edits that Callum's been posting up, and so you bring it to life when you talk about it, but then actually watching the interviews and watching the individual people, on the flower market, on the fruit and veg market, answer the 3 golden questions and answer the additional 4th question that New Covent Garden came up with for us, which was, what's the best thing about working at New Covent Garden Market? And I was watching one, a handful of videos, but one this morning kind of thing, and it kind of had a bit of a moment, because the guy in the video actually, what he says, so you ask him, what does he like about working at New Covent Garden Market? And he kind of, he thinks about his answer for a bit, and he looks dead into the camera and he just said, "This work made me." And it just, for someone who's worked in careers, pretty much all my career, it kind of gave me goosebumps, because if they're, and there are other kind of brilliant ways to express this, but this is just a perfect way to demonstrate how individual each of our relationships with work are, or how important it is to understand your relationship with work for yourself, as an individual person. Because he went on to say in his interview that he's a qualified accountant. Now, he could have a fantastic career, a very stable career, financially rewarding, being an accountant. But there was something about this job, this place, this environment, the people, he talked about the feeling he got when customers came back to him, and these are chefs in really, really good restaurants in London, come back and say, your produce is amazing. Or when he talked about you know, feeding London when the
Yeah.
supermarket shelves were empty during the, the first stage of the lockdown. This is what People on Work is
Yeah.
for. It's to
Yeah.
um, communicate things like that can't be communicated in any other way other than the person, who's talking about their experience, talking to you directly, and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Well, I think our visit was quite timely, actually, because it was, certainly when COVID first struck and the on-trade, the pubs, the restaurants, the hotels all closed, as you might imagine, volumes through the market collapsed. That's their entire customer base. So everyone was looking at redundancy. They didn't know what the future held, what was going to happen with, would anything ever reopen? And then, of course, there was a call to arms because the supermarkets weren't offering delivery slots. People were anxious about leaving home. So the market, in a bit of a joined up effort, said, look, we've got vehicles, we've got tons and tons of fresh produce that can come in every day. The some department in the government wrote to every employee in the market and said,
Right.
you are a key worker. If you get stopped by the police, show them this letter, and you guys, we really need your help. And they fed London.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you could see the pride in the way that they told that story.
Yes.
It's fairly obvious, I think, what the next few months holds for the market, and it'll be back to normal, probably by Christmas.
Yeah.
They've been through that, and they've had a few months to digest. So actually, me coming along and asking them about about how they feel about work and stuff now. If I'd have gone a year ago, they'd have said, "Oh my God, this is a disaster."
Yeah.
And if I'd have gone probably 9 months ago, they'd have said, "This is crazy. We can't work like this. We're doing 500,000 tiny drops every week. We're not geared up for that." But they've sort of out the other side of it, and I think they've definitely taken a sense of pride from it. And you should see what's in. It's not, obviously the interviews are a sort of interaction between, me and the respondent. But what's amazing to see as you walk around, the spirit of camaraderie, the banter, the rotten fruit throwing, all of that sort of stuff that that you can sense the spirit in the air. It's a pretty good
I think the other thing that underlines for me is that, and this is why it's just so great to be doing this, People on the Work with People on Work is the things that people say about their work. So, and again, there was a couple of the interviewees were talking about how the diversity and the variety of the work, how different every day is. And that just wouldn't be discussed anywhere else. So, I don't know any other place that would, or any other way somebody who was thinking about work could interact with, an industry like fresh fruit and veg and flowers, and be told that every day is going to be different. Because I think if there was, and not that it's all about students in school, but if a student in school asked a careers teacher about wholesale fruit and veg, I'm struggling to imagine the conversation that would lead to that student being told about, how different every day is going to be, or how, the variety of interactions they would have, the depth of understanding or learning they would need to have about, not just the products themselves, but trading, profit and loss, business. And so we're, and I think it's a privilege to do it, but it's also so essential that we're doing it, because we're just filling a gap in the transmission and the sharing of knowledge about work that is just so important.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to be superficial and to look at what on the surface appear to be quite monotonous, quite boring roles. But once you get in under, the devil is in the detail.
Yeah.
And even if you just focus on selling, Spanish tomatoes, through the year there will be all sorts of stories about, greenhouses. There'll be stories on the supply side, stories on the customer side. You'll have good days where you sell 1,000 tons, you'll have
Yeah.
bad days where you only sell 300 tons. Like there is a whole engagement in the marketplace, in demand, in
Yeah.
competition, and you need to ask someone about it. They do it
Yeah.
40-50 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really understand their own narrative,
Yeah.
and that's what People on Work, I think, is just absolutely fabulous at
Yeah. Yeah.
uncovering. And to or even the guys driving the vans,
Mm.
a lot of them said what's great about Covent Garden Market is I get to drive around London at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no
Mm.
traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a van driver, if you're doing Amazon deliveries 9 to 5, oh my God, you might as
Yeah.
well you could just sit at home and not go anywhere. So, that the difference in the experience, knowing, they will experience the seasons, the winter, the summer, the comings and goings, the
Yeah.
half terms because of the reduced traffic levels. So all of that experience really, makes work what it is.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, we've got the content in now, it's all been edited. We're at the stage now where it's being sent over to Covent Garden for approval.
Yeah.
So within the next few weeks, we're hoping to start to,
Yeah.
to make it live. It will be up there on the channel, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Now, May has also been quite busy in regards Hertfordshire Careers and Enterprise Company,
Yes.
South Oxfordshire, and also East Sussex.
Yes.
All of whom we're keen to begin running People on Work projects.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think we're going to start with a reduced number, a handful of schools in all three cases, and then once they get once they understand how it works and what the process looks like, then I think we'll see more of a rollout.
Yeah, definitely. So, the pilot, which was 1 or 2 schools, is now 2 or 3. Well, it's now 3 regions. But we're going to, as you say, we're going to focus on a handful of schools across those 3 regions. We're slightly battling the end of the academic year, but also the good thing is we've found a lot of enthusiasm. So there's calls that you and I have been on where schools are really keen to get started, even despite the holidays coming up. But even if it is the case that the end of the pandemic, if this is the end of the pandemic, and the holidays, even if that means that the bulk of what we're doing starts to happen in September, I still see us over the next, over the summer months before September, being able to kind of support those schools in lots of different ways to get them ready, even to get 1 or 2 videos on their playlists, and to get out to their alumni groups and parents and friends of the school, local employers, things like that, the notice that this is what we're doing.
Obviously, last week was our birthday.
Yeah.
1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And as a child of lockdown, we've benefited by this technology.
Definitely.
But the flip side of that is now that every careers leader seems to be a COVID manager, and every teacher, I mean, it goes all the way down to every single member of staff now is having to do, particularly for GCSE and A-level students where the exams have all been cancelled. There's now a huge emphasis on coursework, in-class examination, homework assessments. So the workload, all that work that the examining boards would normally do, has flipped into school. And, I mean, it's, where are we now? 2nd of June. Got 6 weeks now. This summer term to go, and I think we'll have some enthusiasm, but I'm not sure how much action we'll get before September. But hopefully, like you say, if we can get things lined up so that they're in a position to get going quickly in September.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best we could hope for.
Yeah, and and I've got a lot of sympathy. We both got a lot of sympathy given the year we've had,
Yeah.
given the catch up and all the new tasks that are on the plates of the teachers and schools, and also a lot of sympathy for the and you and I were talking about this, the way schools are treated by some suppliers of services and resources. It's a big sell and a big splash, and the school's got to get excited about it and do everything now. And so some of these schools that we're talking to, we've only been speaking to for the first few weeks, but I think where we're a bit different to that. I mean, where there's enthusiasm and where they're ready and they've got time, we're there to support them. But we're still going to be here at the beginning of the academic year. We're still going to be here for the next academic year, and the plan is the year after that and the year after that. And people on work for each school, the playlist for each school is just something that just gets better and better over time. So there's not that same pressure to learn something new right now, put all your energy into something that should work or might work, and you don't know what the long-term payoff is going to be. We're here for the long-term payoff, and the long-term payoff is that the students of each and every school that has a playlist are just going to get more and more direct information about work from the people doing the work, former students, people that they can relate to, and then the flywheel effect of more schools doing that. So you've just got more and more videos of people with experience to watch. So we've got a lot of sympathy for the schools, but we're still going to be here. Well, whenever they're ready, we're going to be here, and we're going to be ready to get them populating their playlist.
Excellent. Well, I think we're going to have a very busy June on hopefully on the commercial front. So we'll talk about that next month.
Yeah, lots going on there. So we won't jinx it. And but I think we'll have a story or two to tell about that in July.